A quick 1-minute break here if you want to inform the players of, or inform the viewers of all the things and introduce our next player. Next player is going to be Rara Zheng from OD and continue from Complexity.
That's right. Complexity does knock out Phil after seeing the surprising carrier play, the surprising cannon rush. Was going for early DT play, but then taken out by the early 4-gate. So a lot of very quick games there in succession. Aside from the carrier rush one, or the carrier one wasn't really a rush. At any rate, Rara Zheng is coming out now for Overdosed Gaming. He actually lives in Korea, and he's known for his PvP style. And so coming up against Continue, who's also a Protoss player, that could be fairly good if his PvP holds up to its lore as it is. So while we still are waiting for Wingnut to come back, I do want to encourage you to check out DOS Keyboards. They are the sponsor of StarCraft 2 CTL Community Team League, and they are putting up 5 DOS keyboards for the winner of the league, which is going to be awarded after the event this Sunday, which is going to be a live event. Wingnut and myself are going to be casting on Sunday all day. We'll be going through the semifinals, including one of the teams from tonight. Whichever one ends up taking the match will be one of the ones in the semifinals and has a shot at the final as well if they're able to pull it through that far. So the winning team does get those 5 DOS keyboards. If you would be so kind as to let DOS know that you appreciate them supporting this league, supporting Ground Roots esports, that would be awesome. We'd really appreciate it. And feel free to check out StarCraft 2 Community Team League. Their website is SC2CTL.com. You can find them on Reddit. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them on Facebook. You can also find Wingnut and myself on Twitter. Our Twitters are on the screen. And yeah, just follow with all that information. We will have one more weeknight cast that will be this Thursday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That will be a double whammy, a two-for show, if you will.
Double header.
Yeah, we're going to be doing two matches back-to-back, the remaining games in the round of 8 leading into the semifinals. Both of the winning teams of those matches will be in the semis, and again, all those games will be happening during our semi and final live cast on this Sunday. And that starts at 11:30 for the pre-show, and the games will start promptly at noon.
They will indeed. I'm sure you told them about this, but I'm just going to put this little sample tweet in chat that you can send out to DOS Keyboard to say a big thanks for sponsoring SC2CTL. We'd appreciate that. So the score now is going to be 2-2, right, Galgation?
I believe that is correct.
Yep, and I think we're ready to hop on into the next game.
Let's do it.
All right, and this will be Newkirk Precinct in the lower right-hand corner. From Overdose Gaming, it is going to be Rara Zheng.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, representing Team Complexity Academy, taking the last game away from his adversary with a 4-gate, it is Continue.
I do like that name. You know what that reminds me of, right?
No, I do not.
Right? Mortal Kombat.
That's actually what it reminded me of, too. I mean, I get that maybe the implication as if you played Mortal Kombat in the arcade, you were very familiar with the Continue screen, I'm sure.
Yep.
Unless you were really, really good at that game.
I was pretty familiar with the Continue screen.
Yeah, I was not that good at that game. Well, frankly, you know, the funny thing about Mortal Kombat in its early stages, and, you know, the evolution of gaming is just an interesting thing, but Mortal Kombat in particular is that they had all these complicated moves that had very specific keystroke sequences to pull them off, but there was no way to figure out how those were unless you bought...
Yeah, we didn't have the internets then, man.
No, yeah, I mean, the internet was very new, and, you know, for 10-year-old kids trying to play bloody, gory games, you just kind of button mashing until something happened, and you're like, holy crap, I just shot a lightning
How do
bolt.
I figure that out?
How do I do that again? And you're like, wait, don't punch me. Wait. No, I can't figure it out.
So we've got an interesting build here from Rara Zheng going back to the game. His pylon was a bit late. His gateway was a bit late, but he's putting down 2 gateways simultaneously at 15. Interesting, says the cat.
Like he saw that 4-gate and decided that he's going to do some early aggression of his own to try and counter that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's putting down 2 gate, 2 gas. So I mean, let's see what Continue does here. He's got his Cybercore coming down pretty normal time. 1 gas, 2nd gas going down, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. So I'm interested to see what Rarajung does here.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting build. It'll be interesting to see what he puts out here, and he's not even using those right away.
No, I think this is a bit of a waste. I mean, if you're waiting that long and delaying your cybernetics core by that much, I think you need to be not only producing something out of him immediately, but chrono boosting it. He does have almost 50 energy, which is probably what you were just going to say.
Well, I was actually going to say that there are 2 zealots coming down from those now, so he is putting those down. He's actually putting them straight at his ramp. I don't see them rallied anywhere in particular to be immediately useful.
And this is a bit peculiar, because, I mean, he did wait quite a while before producing those two. I mean, maybe a bit of a timing here, because those 2 zealots are going to finish right as the cybercore finishes, and then 2 stalkers come out, and the chrono boost, so that does line up pretty well, but I'm not sure if that was purposeful or an accident.
Based on the timing of all that, I'd say that was purposeful. And now the zealots are in a zigzag attack pattern, trying to see if there's any proxy pylons out there. They are not going to find anything just yet.
The thing is, for Continue, though, is his warp gate is way farther along than Rarajung. I mean, he's going to be sending out those 2 zealots. Look like those 2 stalkers are going to follow, but by the time they get to his base, warp gate's going to be done. He is putting down a 3rd gateway now, so it's going to be tight, but I think Continue is going to be just fine against this. He really needs to not lose this stalker here right now, though, as he sees those zealots and pulls back. He needs to bring his forces home and keep everything he has.
I think Rarajung was trying to move his additional units around the backhand side so that stalker did not see them, but it looks like that was unsuccessful. Now rallying together, and now there's 3 stalkers against 2 stalkers and 2 zealots. I feel like the 3 stalkers are going to win in this scenario.
Absolutely. Allegation, as those zealots are easily microable, and if you target down those stalkers, I mean, Rarajung's going to pull them back as soon as the shields get down, so I think Continue's in a really good spot. He's putting down a robo too, so this is going to solidify his position as well once he starts producing immortals.
But Rarajung is transitioning into Stargate now, so it looks like he's going to try and do some airplay after feigning some early aggression into gateway tech.
Now that the mothership core is out too, I mean, this is the other advantage of that earlier Stargate. He can time warp and be able to take out one of those stalkers. 1 stalker going down is so huge right now.
Yeah, that is a big loss at this phase of the game. There was a zealot that tried to walk around and get a scout off and is in the mineral line, but is now being focused down by the probes and the stalkers. So overall, Rarajung's attack there was not overly fruitful.
Yeah, probe's going to be putting down another pylon back here as the initial one. I think it was canceled. I don't think it was killed, but a Oracle coming out for Rarajung, so he's going to hope to get in there and do some probe damage with that, as his initial attack wasn't successful at all. We look at units lost. Continue's only lost 50, which means he lost a probe, but that's it.
Yeah. Continue does have an observer heading across the map now, too, and that's going to spot this Oracle as it's heading across the map. So Continue's going to be in great position to defend this. I mean, he's going to be able to move his stalkers back right away and handle any aggression.
Yeah, but he did see that Oracle, and the reaction time is there, pulling those stalkers back. This is going to be a dead Oracle for Rarajung, I think.
I completely agree. There is not a whole lot of wiggle room for it.
Oh, and he's getting it right into the base, too, so these stalkers are going to be able to chase it down. Looks like he barely kills 1 probe, but might be able to get it away, as the speed a little bit faster than those stalkers.
Yeah, they did kind of take a roundabout way trying to trap the Oracle on the inside of the base so it wasn't able to walk out, but it just kind of zapped out the other side.
Rarajung doing a great bit of action here. As he does have that observer in the base of Rarajung. Sees the 2 warp gates opening up, sees the Stargate with the Void Ray being produced. Now switching into Phoenix is Rarajung.
So this is a very odd build from Rarajung. It's not really something that we've seen very frequently, and so far, frankly, it's not been very effective.
Yeah, the Twilight Council just finishing up for Continue, and he's going to go right for a Twilight Council. Great play by him. I mean, this is going to be awesome. Getting Storm up immediately against this Stargate play is going to be pretty big, especially even the Phoenix. I mean, you can feed back those Phoenix once they get higher energy, too.
But in the meantime, his army supply is not going to be, well, it's about even. So he's not really sacrificing a whole lot to keep his tech going pretty hard, while Rarajung is pretty much sprinting for units at this point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's because the Continue got his expansion up so much sooner, he's able to deflect that attack. I mean, the units lost says it all. That 400 minerals that Rarajung lost is an expansion.
Certainly is. And frankly, if Rarajang doesn't make a move here relatively soon, I mean, there is an observer right over that army. Oh, it does get taken out now as the Oracle comes in with its Envision ability.
Oracle is just a cool unit, man. I freaking love that Oracle.
It is pretty neato. It's a little bit squishy, but I guess a lot of the Protoss casters are.
Yeah, but just the ability to have detection if you're going Stargate is the biggest metagame shift for Protoss, I think. In Heart of the Swarm, at least. But that Oracle is going to... Oh,
Yes.
Looks like the Phoenix are going to come back in along with the Oracle. And maybe come in, maybe not. Just waiting for a couple more Phoenix. Not sure what Rarajang's plan is here. It seems like a bit of a disconnected build as he's got a little bit of everything at the moment.
Which, you know, he might be able to do some...
Oh, is he gonna? He does micro back that mothership core.
Yeah, I thought for a second he was going to lose it, but puts down that photon overcharge and then gets it out of dodge.
So more gateways going down for Continue as he does have his Robo. Hasn't produced anything out of it very smartly though, you know, seeing the Stargate, knowing that Robo is not the good choice. But getting Zealot charged, he's going to be going for Zealot Archon. Surprising.
And those Phoenix are getting some probe kills as the army of Continue is a little bit out of position there, but does come around and is able to chase those away.
I don't think Continue saw the Phoenix when he went for this, but it was a intuitive play of him to go for those Archons right away because guess what Phoenix can't lift?
Phlogiston in chat saying hi to us. Thanks again for joining us again this evening. We've seen you around before. We appreciate you coming back.
Absolutely. Always happy to see return viewers as the Phoenix come in here. Photon Overcharge goes down again, lifts up a Stalker, but isn't able to kill it. Does get one probe. Rarajang does see something being researched out of the Twilight Council, and if I was Rarajang and seeing all these Stalkers, I would assume it's Blink. So how does that change your play, the fact that it isn't?
You know, it is hard to kind of assume anything in these types of games. I mean, you would assume that Rarajang wouldn't go for this type of build, but yet he is. And for the first time in this game, actually, Rarajang is ahead in the resources lost category, but he's also pretty far behind in just tech in general.
Yeah, he does have an envision on this army, so he does see it moving across the map. That does wear off, so he's going to have to keep this Oracle nearby to keep an eye on Continue. But this is quite the army from Continue. Four Archons, a good deal of Zealots, couple of Mortals, so he can do a lot of damage to just about anything that Rarajang has. And right now, I mean, the Phoenix aren't going to be all that useful.
And the ground army isn't all that substantial either, so Rarajang is going to have quite the task on his hands to try and defend against this push. Looked like it was incoming there for a second. A Colossus does come up, that may be somewhat helpful. Photon Overcharge does go down, and all the Zealots are kind of dancing around that one gateway. Do take it out, and they decide that that's enough for them, pulling back and trying to regroup, it looks like.
Yeah, it looked like he was target firing that gateway. Like you said, those Zealots were just doing a dance party around there.
Yep. So now the units are moving all the way in. Zealots moving forward, tanking for all those more expensive units. Immortals do get picked up, and the Archons are forced to retreat back through that time warp. So actually, Rarajang able to defend this fairly handily.
Yeah, but what is going to be his path out of it? I don't think that...
I mean, look at the resources lost tab. He lost very little in that attack. That was an amazing defense.
Right. That was a big swing, and Continue did have a lot of expensive units there, I guess, with those Archons and the Immortals. So I thought that, you know, those Colossus coming out, I mean, really that timing was the clutch thing for him. And possibly Continue didn't expect the Colossus, too. I mean, he's been seeing so much air, so much Stargate thing, and he lost his Observer. So I'm guessing the Colossus were a bit of a surprise for Continue.
Probably. Continue did just experience an Oracle in his mineral line. However, there were a few Stalkers there, easily able to handle it.
Rarajang does have 11 workers killed, though, so that's, you know, at least relatively significant.
Absolutely. Warp Prism does come out for Continue now, and it looks like he's going to try and do some harassment. But in the meantime, these Phoenix are coming across the map, and they are going to meet and kiss in the middle.
Oh, but the Warp Prism flies right on by the Phoenix as he doesn't see them in time, picking up a Stalker here. Looks like he is going to slowly be able to kill that. A little bit of micro. Might not lose any of these Phoenix. Phoenix can take out Stalkers pretty well in low numbers.
And that is what they are at the moment. Low numbers. Mothership Core is nowhere to be seen around there.
Where's that Mothership Core? He is, oh, Mothership core is right there. It's actually just standing idly by with full energy. Could be coming over here getting a photon overcharge down.
I think that Continue's just using all his APM trying to get the Zealot push into the main, and that is a hefty Zealot push, as there are 12 Zealots moving into the mineral line of Rarajang.
Colossus there to intercept that, and those Colossus going to take out these Zealots so fast. They did get a few probe kills. Only 6 though. That definitely not worth it.
Definitely not. And again, the units lost tab is telling the story of this game. Despite having kind of an awkward build, it seemed, now we're forced to eat crow, as it is proving fairly effective against his opponent Continue here.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I was baffled at the build of Rarajang, but he's really, I mean, it seems like he's just chosen his tech path. I mean, he went air, maybe that didn't work out so well, but he's just gone nuts with these Colossus and Zealots, and those two in combination, as long as Continue doesn't have any air, which he doesn't, is just going to be insanely powerful. Look at, I mean, these Colossus all marching in a row across the map, just, it's kind of funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if Continue was to choose to go into air at this point, those Phoenix would be able to take him out. So, you know, at this point, you'd kind of like to see Storm, I'd feel like, out of Continue, but he doesn't have it. I mean, he's getting High Templar, but he doesn't have Storm researched.
Now I'm saying the same thing about Continue. I was saying about Rarajang. I'm not sure what he can do, but here comes the engagement. All those Colossus taking out the Zealots so fast that big wall of Zealots is now gone, left with only Archons, and he says GG. Wow, that was quite the game. You know, like you said, the crow is not very tasty, but you know, we were kind of counting Rarajang out of it, saying, what is this build? And then he just, I mean, at the end there, the food supply before that engagement was 180 to 130.
Yeah, and that obviously is a very large differential. I think that one of the stories of that game was, frankly, that Rarajang was able to get in there and do some economic damage while Continue's attempts were thwarted. And, you know, Continue also used a lot of his attention trying to get those Zealots into the mineral line of Rarajang while he was losing his own to Phoenix, while the Mothership core was very close by. Could have easily thrown down a photon overcharge. So that was a little bit of a mishap that happened. At that point in the game, I'm not sure how much of a difference it would have made overall, but definitely getting a little bit outplayed there towards the end.
Yeah, Courtling's in chat asking if these are Platinums. These are Master Grandmaster players from the Master Grandmaster division of SC2CTL. They do have several different divisions: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and Master Grandmaster. And these are the best of the amateur scene, with Complexity Academy actually being, you know, a academy team for a major professional team. So this is the recruiting department for Complexity here we're seeing. So definitely some very high-level players here. You know, we did see a funny build out of Rarajang, but it turned out to be very successful.
It absolutely did. So we will see Rarajang in